once read a quote that nothing good was ever learned from eavesdropping. When he originally read it years ago, he had sneered. He hadn't agreed. He had learned many interesting things from eavesdropping. It had served him well. He had hungered for greatness in those days, and yet he had always failed somehow in achieving it. He took solace in knowing other people's secrets, for it made him feel superior, like he had something over them. It made people who had secrets despise him. After Lily had been killed, though, he had started agreeing with the quote. For not being a great man, he had been responsible for how events had played out. Harry Potter's fate had been sealed by his eavesdropping. The Dark Lord had learned about the prophecy from him. Whatever has happened to Harry Potter, Snape knew he was in some ways responsible, just as he was responsible for the death of the only woman he had ever loved. Still, old habits die hard, and old habits were still useful. The 5 Gryffindors didn't realize they were being followed or overheard. Snape was a large, awkward man, one that easily stood out in a crowd. Yet, it was amazing how easy it was for him to blend into the scenery when he was so inclined, to disappear so successfully that people would believe they were alone. He had suspected Granger had been lying. It would be too much of a coincidence that Lockhart had given her permission to check out a book that contained a symbol that she had recently seen. Worried, he quickened his pace. "You need to do something about Hermione Granger and Ronald Weasley," Snape said to Dumbledore an hour later. "They are getting much too full of themselves. They try to take on what is far beyond their capabilities. Your indulgence is going to get them killed." "They've done well in the past," Dumbledore replied, staring at the book Snape had handed to him. Funny, I didn't even know we had this book. It might contain some useful information." "You know," Snape said stiffly, "I remember another group of students that you allowed to get away with a lot of rule breaking. 2 are dead, one was sent to Azkaban, and the other is a werewolf." Dumbledore looked at Snape from atop of his glasses. "In all fairness, Severus, Remus Lupin was already a werewolf when he came to Hogwarts," he sighed. "However, an old man might have to admit that he was wrong. I'll keep a sharper eye on them. Thanks for telling me. They have talent, and I don't want to discourage that, but they are still young. They could wind up getting involved in something that is over their heads. If what you suspect about Potter is true, then that definitely will be something over their heads. If Granger has figured some of it out, I wouldn't put it past her to try and rescue the boy." The headmaster looked wistfully. "Well, if she could figure out a way to rescue him, I'm all ears." Snape took a sharp breath, debating something inwardly. "What is it, Severus?" "Headmaster," Snape said softly, "if what you think happened occurred, the boy is dead. There is no rescuing him." Dumbledore conceded sadly. "You probably are right. Still, one always wants to have hope."